So our next video in the series in Land Nav is going to be intersection and resection. This is where it's going to get maybe a little complicated for some of you because there's some math involved. But again, fairly simple concepts, and this isn't rocket science by any means. But first thing we're going to talk about is intersection. Alright, like I said, it all starts on knowing where you're at. So we start out on top of Mount Greylock, and I'll just give you a little scenario for this one so it's easier to understand. We can see the ridge line, and we can see it on our map. We know what it looks like, easy to identify, and we know Mount Fitch is to our north. We can see it from where we're at, we can see it on our map. So that'd be easy enough to plot those locations on our map and get a grid coordinate to them. But let's say down in the valley here, there's nothing, no reference, there's no way we can plot a grid to just anywhere. So let's say a plane went down right here. So it's not on top of our ridge line, it's not on Mount Fitch, it's down in the valley. Now we want to call for help, and we need to send them a grid coordinate. This is where intersection comes into play. And it usually, in the military anyways, you have to have at least 2 different points to shoot an azimuth from. So in this case, we'll just say we're here on top of Mount Greylock, and we shot our azimuth to where we seen that plane go down, and we'll say it was 50 degrees. Well, we need another point to go from to get an intersection. So let's say we had some buddies with us, and they took off a little early, and they were on a little hilltop just southeast of us. So we called them on the cell phone, and we said, hey, did you see the plane go down? Yep, we saw it. Alright, we need you to shoot an azimuth to that plane crash, to the site. So they shoot their azimuth, and they're at 15 degrees from where they're at. So they tell us, yeah, hey, we got 15 degrees. So knowing their point and knowing our point, we can plot both of these points on the map, take out our protractor, mark out 50 degrees, and then 15 degrees. And that's going to give us an intersection right here to that plane's location. The more spots that you have, if we had another team, say over here, you need a minimum of 2, and anything more than 2 will get you a more accurate grid coordinate as an intersection. So you'd be more accurate in plotting from 3 points than you would from 2, obviously. Again, this isn't rocket science. The only thing you have to keep in mind now when you do this is we shot this 50 degree azimuth and this 15 degree azimuth with our compass. So that's a magnetic north. When we go to plot this on our map, we need to refer back to our declination diagram and see what that number was that they give you for the difference. And every map again is going to be different. So on our map it said 7 degrees. Now, knowing how to do that, some protractors actually have it on it and some don't. So you're going to have to know the formula, and it's not that difficult again. Okay, so from going from grid north to magnetic north, alright, so we have grid north and magnetic north. Again, our declination diagram said it was 7 degrees different. Well, an easy way to remember that, what they taught us in the Army, was G is for general and M is for major. Well, a general is higher ranking than a major. So if you're going from general to major, you need to subtract that reading that you took. So we're going from magnetic to grid, or map north, we need to add that 7 degrees. So we took our 50-degree reading, we need to add that 7 degrees to make it correct on our map. So when we go to draw this line for our intersection on our map, we need to plot it or mark it out as 57 degrees. And vice versa. If we plotted a point on the map, now we want to go to our compass, we're going to have to subtract that 7 degrees, because we'd be going, from magnetic to grid, which is major to general, you're going to add. Going from the map to your compass, you're going to subtract 7 degrees. Like I said, this is where it gets a little tricky, a little bit of math involved, but stay with me. So hopefully you guys understood that. Shot an azimuth with our compass, it was 50 degrees. Our buddy shot one at 15 degrees, and you're going to have to do the same thing with that 15 degrees. Going from magnetic to grid, you would have had to add that 7 degrees here as well, which would have given you 22 degrees. So when you're marking it out on your map to plot this grid coordinate, you'd have to do that in order to be correct. So stay with me, we're going to get into resection in just a minute.